Okay, people. So my boy Henry hit me up with this new indie creepy ass horror thriller. I don't know, man, but it's interesting as fuck, right? It is called Nefarious, and it is from co-writers and directors Chuck Konzelman and Cary Solomon. The film is produced by Sheila Hart and Chris Jones. It's executive produced by Dave Van Wyck, John Sullivan, um, Bob Vanderpleet, Dave Culture, Steve Deuce, Robert Kramer, and Laurie Kramer, and line produced by Brandon Riley. Oh, I should also say that Chuck and Carrie also produced the film along with Hart and Jones. Brian E. Miller is on music, Jason Head, cinematography, Brian Jeremiah Smith edits the piece. Ricky Masla is on casting. Production design is all Chris Rose and Chad Quick. Art direction, we have Casey Crowdis, David Moline, and Brandon Roy. Set decoration is Amy Teague. Hair and makeup, we've got Sharon Tabb and Princey Patel. Production management is Cedric St. Clair. And our cast, well, Sean Patrick Flanery is Nefarious. Dr. James Martin is played by Jordan Belfi. We have got the assistant warden Anderson, played by Eric Hansen. Got Dr. Stewart is played by Robert Peters. We got Walden Moss, played by Tom Ulmer. Father Lewis is played by Daniel Martin Berkeley. Melanie Carter is played by Maury Corsini. Renee is played by Tina Toner. Officer Campbell is Jeremy Miller. The prison guards are played by Ethan Millard. John Kane. We got Trusty Styles, played by Cameron Arnett. The gate guard is played by James Healy Jr. Corporal Mendez is played by Sarah Hernandez. Detective Russo is played by Stelio Savant. Officer Wilson is played by Jarrett Lemaster. Dr. Fisher is played by Mark D. Alessandro. Sergeant Wilborn is played by Griffin Aldrin. Officer Grady is played by Darian Molino. Yeah, I think that's it. Right. And the gist of the film is this: on the day of his scheduled execution, a convicted serial killer gets a psychiatric evaluation during which he claims he is a demon, and further claims that before their time is over, the psychiatrist will commit 3 murders of his own. I mean, imagine that. Imagine that. This film is oh, there's an edge to it. There is definitely an edge, right? We start off, we've got you know, Dr. Peters, he's sitting at his desk, and you feel that there's something ominous happening, right? No, not Dr. Peters, Dr. Stewart, my bad. Right? And we feel there's something ominous going to take place, right? But you can't quite put your finger on it. And then and then that, you know, whatever happens, and you're like, oh, okay. Right. Next thing we know, we're following Dr. James Martin as he's going into the prison. So we're like, right. He sits down and Nefarious then gets into what he's about. And you're not quite sure, right? At the beginning, it's like, is this a manipulation? Right? People can be crazy at that. Like, you know, I'm gonna reference a film, but you know, like Science of the Lambs, Hannibal Lecter. Listen, I understand that's a made-up character, but we know, right? These serial killers like Jeffrey Dahmer, Fred West, all of these people, right? Charles Bronson, they say, no, Manson, Charles Manson? The Manson family. Yeah. No, they say these people, master manipulators, right, can convince you that the sky is yellow. So, you know, you wonder, is that what this dude is? Right? Is he just a manipulator? But over the course of the film, we see all of these different looks, which are masterfully brought to life by Flanery. You know, a lot of this is Flanery and Belfi having these conversations. And so it's up to them to portray so much with facial expressions and body language, you know, tone of voice, which they really do a fantastic job of. Really do. And especially when we have these different kind of visitations, let's say, Flannery just really really sells it, which is just like, ooh. Now, like an interesting thing, you know, that whole proclamation, you know, before you leave, you will commit 3 murders. Now, when you hear that, it is a bit like, I mean, like, what's going to happen? Or are we going to see him go to the toilet and get into a fight and, oh, someone slips and they kill? Like, how is this all going to play out? Right? How is this going to be believable? The way that, you know what I mean, these directors pull this off. Ooh. Oh my God. It It's pretty fucking clever. It's pretty clever, right? And before I forget, there is a statement, director's statement, right? They say, when we were children, we were all told that there's no such thing as monsters. Well, that was a lie. There are monsters and they are very real. They don't look like monsters on TV or in the movies because you generally can't see them, at least not fully. What you can see is what they do. These monsters tempt and corrupt, they control and they destroy their enemy and their prey. It's us. They are the fallen angels, the demonic host, the denizens of hell, those who were cast out of heaven and in their bitterness and anger seek to forever destroy all that is good. Inspired by Steve Deuce's invention of a master demon named Lord Nefarious, we began to wonder what it would look like if someone sat down to have a conversation with such a demon, and what it would sound like if, for reasons of his own, that demon decided to speak the absolute truth from his point of view. What would be the dynamics of that? That's what this movie is about. If we've done our job right, then after watching this film, you'll be convinced of the idea of a personal supernatural force of evil who drives the evils of this world. What you decide to do with that knowledge will be up to you. God damn. I mean, come on, man. That's not something nice, right? You don't want to put that out to people. Oh, boy. It is definitely, interesting what they've done. As I say, they've created this reality, this notion, and the conversation, right? You think, oh, is it going to be someone making all of these claims? But it's actually balanced in a way where, when you look at it, it's like, I mean, that's a fair comment, right? Or, oh, I mean, yeah, I guess doing that thing could, there are people that would call you this thing, right? Or what are the actions? Because, people oftentimes act all pious, act all holier than thou. And then when you look at the things they're doing, it's like, yeah, that's real shitty. That's a real shitty thing to do. So we're seeing a very different side of old Dr. James Martin here, which does make it interesting. There's definitely a couple of things that come out that make you kind of go, ooh. And it is played again really well, right? Because I think it's the way we look at these actions that we do, like you can justify yourself, right? Why something makes sense, or why you were in your good mind to do that thing. And that's what we see, those justifications. But when you're outside looking in, you can go, that don't really wash. Or do you really believe that? Right? So it makes this fascinating. Oh man, it really does. Just, all the way through, and the end, right? When well, cut towards the end, right? What Flannery has to do with his body to portray this one incident is pretty, it's crazy, man. Like, to be able to do that, to sell this experience, because you know what I mean, you kind of feel no one's gonna really know what that feels like, right? You can probably have watched tape, but do you really want to watch tape of that? It's yeah, it's done very well. It's done very well, and then we have this end sequence, which it does. Right, there's a bit where you're kind of going, huh, but isn't this what the ask was, right? Have you like, aren't you just doing this thing? And then this whole chilling moment happens. It's yeah, very well done. Very well done. I will definitely say, look, if you're a fan of, these kind of films, then I think Nefarious is going to speak very well to you. There is a definitely a film on Shudder that I think is a good kind of reflection of what this is. And I would say if you liked, I feel it's the cleansing season. I believe that's what this film is called, the cleansing season, right? If you enjoyed that film, then I think Nefarious is going to work very well for you. You know, different, but there's similar tonal, movements. So yes, I would definitely put those two. I mean, that would make a double header for sure. That would. I mean, hey, I want to be there. You know what I mean? Fuck, man, you'll come out just being like, yo, I need, I need to watch the Care Bear movie. You know. But yes, I think if you're a fan of that kind of stuff, then this the cleansing, I think it's the cleansing hour, not cleansing season, the cleansing hour. But yes, people, Nefarious is definitely one to watch. It's definitely one to watch. But I think yeah, be prepared. Right? Be prepared to be kind of shook. You know what I mean? Definitely do that, people. Don't go into these things all willy-nilly, right? Well, I'd say watch it during the day as well. Yeah. Watch it during the day. Have your peoples around you, you know? Like I feel my friend Sarah is going to very much enjoy this film because she's some crazy ass that really loves this shit. Really loves this shit. Woo! So people. Yeah, you can go watch it in the cinema, which is definitely, I feel, a good thing, right? Because if you're watching it in the cinema, you're around people, you know? You're around people. So, hey, you might not know them, but I feel that brings a level of comfort. You know what I mean? I feel that brings a level of comfort. So, yes, it's going to be hitting cinemas. So, you know, hey, why not? Right? Why not go and frighten the shit out of yourself? So, yes, there you go. Nefarious. Woo! Very, very sinister.